At the end of 2024, every sportsbook put out what the betting odds are on who will end 2025 as a UFC World Champion in each weight division. We had some very clear favorites. We had a couple of tied up divisions. And now that we're closing in on about halfway through 2025, the question becomes, who will be the champion at the end of this year for each individual weight class? We got a whole bunch of weight classes to get through and pound for pound. You want to start at the bottom and work our way up, or you want to start at pound for pound and go down?
Let's go pound for pound and go on the way down.
All right,
By the way, I'm Josh Thompson. This is Angelo. I love that part where you do that. I'm going to start stealing that for our own show.
All right.
I like
My name's Angelo. This is Josh Thompson, and welcome to our Bad Takes.
I love it. Part of the show. I feel like it's the best part. I get excited every time I hear it. I get like a little thumb I would.
I should. There you go. We would have no clue whatsoever, even with full. But
no,
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
If we're looking at pound for pound, right now, Islam Makhachev's the number one pound for pound guy in the world. We had a couple of ranking changes, a lot lower, but it goes Islam, Jon Jones, Ilya. How do you think we end the year as the universal pound for pound champ?
I think it's going to be Islam. I think he'll stay there, and I'll get into reasons why as we go down the list of who will be champions at the end of the year. So, but I believe Islam will be there. I think Jon Jones will be out of the conversation, to be honest, after that. I think he either will fight, or if he doesn't fight, then that puts him out of the conversation as well. But if he does fight, I think he loses to Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, I think there's only a case to be made for three people: Islam, Ilya, or Jon Jones. If Ilya beats Islam, then it's got to be Ilya, right? If Jon Jones beats Tom Aspinall, that is an interesting discussion because he's basically never lost a fight ever. Yeah. So that's an interesting discussion. But I do think we probably end up with Islam because Jon Jones probably doesn't fight. I don't think Ilya beats Islam, so we do probably end up with Islam. Then we have men's flyweight. Right now, Pantoja is the champion. We've got Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, a couple people sniffing at his heels. I think Pantoja ends the year as champion. I don't know who's beating Pantoja right now in that division.
You know, I would agree with you 100% that Pantoja is going to end the year there, but I will not be surprised if Kyoji Horiguchi ends up being the champion in that weight class.
Because they did just sign him, right?
Yes,
the UFC just signed him.
Yep. So I'm going to go with Kyoji Horiguchi at the end of this year. I think he ends up beating Royval. He's got power in his hands. He's going to be the faster fighter. He can stuff takedowns on top. He's nasty, and Pantoja is very hittable. Very hittable.
He's getting older.
He is, but so is Horiguchi. Just the speed will be the difference. Horiguchi is the faster fighter. He's got more power than Pantoja as well. Submission-wise, there's a concern and a scare there. But I just don't know if Pantoja's got the ability to take him down.
It'll be that actually I didn't even think of, or I was only looking at the UFC rankings. I forgot they just signed him. So that is an interesting matchup. I'm still going to stick with Pantoja. I think he can he's proven he can grind, wrestle, and kind of make some stuff happen. Then we have Bantamweight. Merab Dvalishvili right now is number one. Sean O'Malley's right there. We got Petr Yan.
What did you say? Chael Sonnen?
Yeah. He was like, what did he say? He said it insane.
I couldn't remember, but it's
Dvalishvili or something. Yeah.
Dvalishvili. Yeah. But the Vili is wheelie actually. Dvalishvili is how you say it. It's from what I understand. That's from what I understand. It's the wheelie part at the very end. It's not Vili. It's wheelie, like a W. Anyway,
I've never pronounced one of these names correctly.
It like I am right now. Who do you think is going to end up being the champion at the end of 2025?
I think it's got to be Merab. He beat the toughest test. Umar, I would have said Umar if this was a few months ago. Merab beat him. Obviously, Umar broke his hand. I don't quite know if they're going to run that back this year. So up next for Merab is Sean O'Malley. I think he burns through Sean O'Malley, basically the same way he did the first time. So who the hell is going to beat Merab? So I think Merab ends the year as Bantamweight champion of the world.
Yeah, it does kind of concern me that Umar will probably have to wait until the beginning of 2026 to get it. But I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Umar anyways, based on the fact that if Corey Sandhagen comes up short and loses his fight to Figgy, that it will not be Figgy over Umar. So Umar will end up getting that shot. If Corey Sandhagen beats Figgy, I could see him getting the title shot. Now, Petr Yan also is matched up from what I understand. I can't remember who off the top of my head.
I don't know either. I didn't know he was matched up.
Okay, yeah, I believe he's matched up, but I can't recall off the top of my head who it is. And so I would put Petr Yan somewhere in that mix as well because he's ranked number 2. So, but I mean, I'm going to end up going with Umar. That's who I'm going to go with.
Yeah, my only that was obviously a very good fight. Umar, I think he won the first 2 rounds, broke his hand, lost the next 3, very clearly lost the next 3. It was not a controversial decision at all. But then once the x-rays came out and his hands were broken, it's like, oh, all right. Maybe the success in the first 2 rounds could continue, or maybe it is just that Marab the machine cardio. So that would be an interesting one to run back. I do think the UFC will probably force Umar to get another win before they just run that back.
Yeah, but I think he'll be willing to fight probably by the International Fight Week, and then he'll be ready to fight again probably by the end of November, sometime around there, early December. He'd be willing to fight. They try to get in as many fights as they possibly can before they have to do Ramadan again the following year. So he'll try to fight again probably October, November, and then fight again probably January, February, and then again right before Ramadan, which is normally like towards the end of March, April, May, somewhere in that mix.
And what do you think the over-under is on the number of comments saying that you're biased towards Dagestanis because of your relationship with Islam and Khabib?
100%. And look, I do not deny this at all, you guys. I'm not someone that it doesn't matter if it's just Dagestanis. If you train out of AKA and you have anything to do with my coaches, Javier Mendez and anybody else, I'm gonna just automatically pick them. I'm gonna give you all the reasons why. Whatever, you can take it for what it is. I also was the one that clearly picked Islam to take Charles down and submit him within the first 3 rounds. And I just got crucified, and then it happened. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Josh Thompson called this. Yeah, because I spent a lot of my time, especially towards the end of my career, training with Islam more so than Khabib. You know what I mean? And so, I know exactly how good they are, what areas they're good at. Look, I think Corey Sandhagen's got a good chance of beating Merab as well. I just don't know if Corey ends up getting to that title shot. But I'm going to say Umar just because I believe that there's a good push for Umar given the injury, and the UFC likes him. They know that he's more of a stand-up guy. He's not mainly a wrestler, but he's well-rounded. I think they like him. So
then we have men's featherweight. Alexander Volkanovski just won that belt back. This weight class is a hot mess. Everybody's beating each other. Volkanovski's old as shit. Some people are going to lightweight. In my opinion, I do not think we end the year with Volk as champion. I think he fights one more time this year and he loses. It's just a matter of who is he going to lose to. And I don't quite know. If it's Yair, he actually might lose to Yair this second time. He beat the piss out of him the first time they fought, but his chin has not. Diego Lopez almost put it out a few times, and Yair looked great. Obviously, that was lots of weird circumstances here. Not Volk is my answer. What is your answer for featherweight?
Oh man, I'm gonna actually go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna probably see Evloev is gonna be the champion at the end of the year. I'm gonna go out on a limb there because I honestly believe if he does win, that he probably will try to sit on it for a year, and the UFC is gonna get frustrated with him, dealing with him, all of those things. That's a big reason why they're not pushing him right now for the title. I think there's other reasons why, but not just being boring. I think there's other reasons why. So I think if he does win, look for him to kind of just sit on it for the rest of the year.
Yeah, all right. Doesn't he have to get through Pico? Or that's not even officially announced. Just that.
No, that's not officially announced. And I mean, from everything I'm hearing, that they have kind of bypassed that now, and Pico is going to probably end up with somebody towards the ladder, which is going to be someone in that top 15. So they're going to give him a fight to walk into, try to get him into the rankings, and then move forward after that.
All right, that makes sense. Then we go to lightweight. We already mentioned Islam as the pound for pound. I assume we both think he'll end the year as the lightweight champion as well.
I don't think he will. I think he's going to end up going up to 170. I think Arman Sarukian will end up being the lightweight champion at the end of the year.
See, that's not a bad theory for a guy with a ton of bad theories. That's a decent one. But in order for that to happen, Bilal has to lose.
Yeah, I believe that as well. I don't think he'll lose to JDM, but I think I think honestly, if he has another fight after that, Sean Brady, I know he's already beat Sean Brady, not the same Sean Brady we've seen these last couple fights. That being said, it's either going to be Sean Brady or Shavkat, and this is no dig to Bilal, just literally like it happens this fast. He's 38 years old. It happens this 37 years old, I think. It happens this fast. You're on the high. You've had 2 great performances, 3 great performances. And then all of a sudden, these guys have watched you enough and they figured you out. And they're like, okay, what can I do to get him to do this, do that? And one of these guys is going to have the remedy, I think. And this is no knock on him. The other thing as well, he's not a tall guy. He's not a big guy, but he does cut a lot of weight. And so for him to go to 85 is not out of, that wouldn't be too much either. I think honestly, if he was to lose, he would jump right to 85. And I think the UFC would honor him to do that and say, hey, why don't we give you somebody like a Kai Bahalo or a Robert Whitaker or somebody you could stake your name on, and go out there and fight. Would you take the Izzy fight? I think Bilal would be willing to do something like that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I actually think Bilal will end as champion only because of timing. I think he beats JDM, and I don't think he's going to fight again. I think he'll beat JDM and just chill, enjoy the belt, take the time off. I don't think he'll fight another time in 2025.
Oh, you're kidding me? No way. They're going to for sure push him to fight sometime.
He hasn't fought in a year.
October. I mean, that's my point. My point is that look, you can't just sit on the title if you don't fight again. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to say, and they're not huge fans of him.
Yeah.
And so they want that belt gone. Yeah, they're going to turn around and say, hey, we need you to fight again September, October, November, somewhere in there. I don't know if the problem with them is that the UFC doesn't want to put him as a main event. So that being said, I mean, like, I know that he is fighting, he's the main event for this next fight.
315.
Yeah. But but I think unless it's against Shavkat, I don't think they'll put it as a main event. They'll have him and Sean Brady as the co-main probably. But I think that Sean Brady is the type of style that will give Bilal some problems. And I know we've already seen that, but I'm simply saying this is not the same Sean Brady. They fought, I believe, over in Abu Dhabi, the travel, all those things, just whatever it was.
He didn't even try shooting.
Yeah, Bilal fought a very good fight and had a great performance. I can't take it away from him at all. But just fighting in the States is going to be something, I think. So I think that you'll see a tougher fight. Doesn't mean that Bilal is going to lose or win. I just think it doesn't mean that Sean Brady's going to win. It just means that you're going to see a tougher fight. So I'm going to put at the 170-pound division, I think I'm going to put Islam as the champion there because he's going to go up. I think Bilal is going to go to 85. And I think my personal opinion, either DDP or Khamzat Chimaev will be the champion at 185. I'm going to lean towards DDP.
I'm actually right there with you on that because I don't think DDP is going to get finished by Khamzat early. And then we saw in the Usman versus Khamzat fight, you just have your wits about you and you'll be fine later. And I think, the DDP cardio, DDP's like physically an imposing dude, strong as shit, just a bully. I do think he can beat Khamzat. If Khamzat doesn't smoke him as quick as he did Robert Whitaker, then Khamzat's going to have a problem in rounds, 2.5, 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely. And then at 205, I think it's going to stay Ankalaev.
Probably, because I don't think there's going to be a ton of activity. I'm sure they're going to try to do the rematch between him and Pereira at International Fight Week, most likely. And I think Alex loses worse. I thought that was pretty one-sided, honestly, and I think it's only going to be worse for him unless he suffered from some of that Diego Lopez frozen in the moment, worried about the takedowns. Maybe, he got it out of his system and he knows, I don't need to worry about the takedowns. I can defend these. I have defended these, and he could let his hands go, but there was only one person almost finished in that fight, and it wasn't Ankalaev. So I agree. He probably ends the year as champ as well. Then we go to heavyweight. I'm going to grab something. You tell me how you think. And technically, we have two champions at heavyweight right now.
Yeah.
Tom's the interim. John Jones is the true. Do you think we get a unified belt? How do you think that fleshes out?
Yeah, I know. I don't think we get a unified belt. I think that we are done seeing John Jones. I don't think he fights Tom Aspinall. I think they're getting tired of him holding up the division. Obviously, they would like him to fight. They don't want to pay him the exceeded amount of which he's asking for. And John, they're going to get frustrated with him and probably push him out. And Tom Aspinall will end up fighting somebody else, whether a Cyril Gahn or a Volkov or somebody along those lines. He's going to end up being the champion at the end of the year. Is going to be Tom Aspinall.
So I have two things to show you. So I opened this video that in the beginning of the year, the sports books put out odds for who's going to be the champion at the end of the year. So I printed out those odds here. Okay. Tom Aspinall was the minus 200 favorite to end the year as the heavyweight champion of the world. Then John Jones at plus 175. Then Alex Pereira at plus 1,000. Cyril Gahn at plus 1,100. Sergey Pavlovich at plus 1,400. Alexander Volkov at plus 1,600. And Big Ange at plus 8,000. That's me. That's my name to end the year as the UFC heavyweight champion at plus 8,000. And I put $13 on it. And if I get my life together, I can win $1,040 and the UFC heavyweight championship by the end of this year.
Wow, I mean, you're gonna have to start cutting some weight now.
I'm not over 265.
We got the 125-pound division for the females. Valentina Shevchenko, Weili Zhang, LA. Oh, that's the pound for pound. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, that's women's pound for pound. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Weili Zhang is going to be the pound for pound by the end of the year.
It's crazy she's not now. I know Valentina won that belt back, but took 3 fights to get it back.
Yeah.
Like, and she had to wrestle.
You know, I was a huge Valentina Shevchenko fan up until all the drama she was going through with the Alexa Grasso situation, the bad talk. Just, it was very classless in how she handled the situation. Like, I don't know. I was a huge fan of hers, and she lost me during that time. There was a lot of whining, very, like I said, classless type of responses to the situation. So I lost a lot of respect for her.
So pound for pound, you mentioned Weili. So obviously we both assume Weili remains the strawweight champion of the world. I don't imagine there's a lot of weight class changes there. Next up for her is probably Verna. I think she'll stop all those Verna takedowns. I don't think that's a problem. Then we have Valentina at flyweight. Valentina's fighting Manon Fiorot next. I don't think she wins that fight. I think Manon Fiorot beats Valentina.
Yeah, I believe so too. It may not be a super exciting fight, but I think she ends up beating her as well. I think the size of her, the way she's a big, I don't want to say this in a very negative way, but she's a big girl. A big girl. And, and Valentina getting a little bit older, seeing that she doesn't have the same pop that she had when she was younger. It's just not the same fighter. Alexa Grasso was ranked number 6 or 7, I think, when she beat her the first time. And Alexa Grasso, like, she got better, but during that first fight, but then the second 2 fights, it wasn't like she was much better. No. She was the same fighter, and she was having a hard time figuring out that riddle. And she got submitted by Alexa Grasso. And Manon Fiorot is going to be someone who on the feet, I think, is going to give her a hard time, but physical size, pushing her against the fence, all of those things, I think she gets it done and beats her.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And then we have the women's bantamweight division. One of the most unliked personalities in the sport, Juliana Pena, just because she does say a lot of cringy things. She's the current champion of the world right now, but we have Raquel Pennington, who I thought beat her. I don't think Juliana Pena won that last fight. I thought that was a bad decision. And then we have Kayla Harrison. I think Kayla Harrison ends the year as the UFC women's bantamweight champion, if she can make the weight. Did you see her this last week?
Do you think she will? Because they just said that Amanda Nunes is coming back for the winner of this fight.
I mean, that is true. The problem is Amanda has been gone for a very long time.
Yes.
Like, what, 3 years or 2 years? Something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while. Maybe? It's been, I think, 2 years.
It's a long time, and things change. And Kayla Harrison might be able to beat Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Strong as shit. Can throw. Like, I'm going to stick with Kayla Harrison, even with the injection of Amanda Nunes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What did you land on?
No. But no, I landed on Kayla Harrison. I think she's going to be the champion. Gotcha. That being said, I may want to go back to change out my pound for pound for female.
I'm going
to put Kayla at the top of that.
The only reason that's not bad. The only reason that would be tricky is because Weili has just accomplished so much more.
You could say that, but if she beats Amanda Nunes, that's where I'm at. So that's why I said, let me change that out real quick. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. We're about halfway through the year, so we've got 1 or 2 fights left for a lot of these divisions. A lot of things can flesh out. Let us know below who you think is the biggest upset of the year as far as the championship belts are concerned. Any last words for us, Josh?
Yeah, I was going to say in that 205-pound division, I would have probably tried to sneak up Dominic Reyes. I just don't think it's going to be enough time. They're going to try to give him 1 or 2 more fights. He won't get to the title, I think, until the end of the year or till the beginning of 2026. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. And it's basically the weakest weight class in the sport right now. He is back. And so I think Dominic Reyes is going to make a nice run to get there. The fight that he needs to avoid is the Rakic fight, because he's great on his feet. He's got power. I think he can beat Jan Blachowicz. He can beat Jamal Hill, Carlos Oberg, and I think he beats Yuri now. I know that Yuri's already beat him, but I think he beats Yuri. And the Alex Mejia fight, he can win if he wrestles. I don't know if he'll wrestle, though, because he's a stand-up guy. The Alex fight is there, though. But Alex may end up going to heavyweight to try and chase that John Jones fight, too. We don't know. We will see.
Ooh. Damn. I don't believe in the Reyes narrative. But I guess, I guess we'll find out. Either way, let us know what you guys think below. Who's the biggest upset as far as championship belts are concerned? We got a lot of fight left this year. Curious what your thoughts are. I'm Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. Thanks for watching another episode of Bad Takes.